looks like a job for...
Look out!
In the garage, working on the 97 Camaro, changing out the front door speakers. One of them was rattling really bad, and I thought I would buy these bad Mamma Jamma speakers at Walmart for $29. Not going into any audio competitions, and I think those will do just fine. And until now, I thought these would be an upgrade from the stock speakers. This is the factory speaker I just pulled out. Two-way, which is good. Delco, big fat magnet on the back, decent size, which picks up everything. And got a cover here which is doing its job, keeping junk off of the speaker, including water. So if you're gonna do this, try and salvage that piece or get something else that'll cover the back of the speaker without it rattling, because inside this door it takes on water. The seal here only does so much before water gets in there, and there's gaps right there. Trust me, water gets in there, and then it isn't too bad when the car is just sitting, but when you're driving, there's wind blowing by and water gets everywhere. So they take some precautions in that realm and have drain holes to keep the water flowing through there. FYI, Camaro doors are plastic. I don't even think they're fiberglass. They might be fiberglass, but they're definitely not steel. So next time you see one of these driving around, know that these doors are, I think they're fiberglass as well. The front fenders are definitely plastic. Why didn't they just make the hood plastic or fiberglass? That would have helped. Anyway, probably a weight savings issue, because this car is 3,300 pounds, and with a V6 it's a little anemic in the power range. So anyway, when I was I'll do a video about taking the door panel off on the other side. It's pretty easy. I've been at this for maybe 10 minutes. Tools for doing this are just a drill, regular drill, Phillips bit to get the screws out. And I got a screwdriver. This is definitely fiberglass. Fiberglass doors. Well, not exactly a Corvette, but has some fiberglass. Another thing I noticed on this was the corrosion that's happening on these connectors. This is the door lock, and then this is the power window. Now, the power window on this side, I think the switch on the driver's side won't go down, but it'll go up. And this one works both ways, but it's awfully slow. So I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to change the motor in the door here shortly. I've already done it in the other door. And I'm gonna have to clean up these connections. That could be a very serious part of it, because they are corroding green. That is patina, corrosion on copper. Looks great on roofs, but does not bode well for electrical connections. And the connections here look okay. To similar metals, possibly, because those do not look like copper connectors, which would not make sense if they were. So anyway, I'll clean those up before I put them back in. And while I'm in here, I'll go ahead and lube everything up with some white lithium grease, including all of the slide points for the door. This door goes up on a couple tracks that are shaped in an X pattern, and it has a pivot point right in the middle. So as it goes up and down, they slide in the grooves of the track So very important to keep those lubricated. Don't let the grease get all dry and nasty. And your window will go up and down really nice if that's the only problem. Otherwise, you got to replace a motor and then lubricate those. And I use lithium grease just because it's tenacious and stays in there longer than definitely longer than WD-40, and it's not as nasty as bearing grease. Another thing I've replaced is these are relatively cheap. So anyway, I'll be right back. The electronic window motor on these things is right here, and unfortunately they put them in with rivets. I don't know why they do that. What's wrong with bolts with a nylon nut? Would be nice, something self-locking. This is the other bolt for it, or possibly I think that's actually for the track mechanism. So these get drilled out when you change it, and usually the new motor you get, a rebuilt motor, whatever it is, I prefer new, will come with a nut and a bolt that go through there to replace those. There's 3 of them. So that'll once you do it, you shouldn't have to do it again unless you have the, like me, keep your vehicles forever. Here's the tracks I was telling you about, right back here. You can see where there's some black grease on it. Can you see that? There you go. I'm not sure you can still see or not. In there. Anyway, I'm going to take it that you can, and it goes all the way up here. Even, and you see the wheel? Sometimes those things break and you've got to replace them. It's just a little plastic wheel. I typically change those, pretty common item on 65 through 73 Mustangs. And I'm going to go ahead and shoot some lithium grease in there liberally. Looks like I've already done it in here actually. And there's one vertical here too. I get that one as well. I believe there's another one. No, I guess there isn't another one up front. So going down. Also these teeth, important to get those too, because these mesh with the, I just got my window. These mesh with the gear mechanism and the electric motor. Keep in mind, you're probably gonna have to wash your windows after doing this. Alright, going up. Oh, okay. Still kind of slow, but it's a whole lot better than it was. Still kind of slow. Definitely better though. To where I don't have to replace the window yet, or the electric motor rather. Okay. Another thing you can do is all the contact points, like here, will cause a little bit of drag, so you could shoot some WD-40 in there, or even put the window down and just put Armor All or your favorite rubber preservative in there, which would be good. And if you've got a car with a frame all the way around the window here, then you can also lube inside of there as well with something that's not gonna make the window look nasty. All right, connections. These things here can be reversed, so pay attention how they come off. Again, Chevy, not supposed to do that. So at least I think they can be reversed. I wasn't sure which one went where, and yeah, they both fit on the opposite one. So pay attention how the wires come off, which one goes to where. And I just put these back on this way and got lucky just based on where the cables kind of fell into place. Sometimes that helps you too. Okay, This is your weather barrier here. You want to put that back in place, okay? And since you got the door panel off and you're lubing everything, good idea to clean in here if you want to do that. I've just cleaned these off because I'm going to put some duct tape up here just to help keep this in place. Because sometimes I'm going to have to do the same thing on the other side over there, because sometimes when I'm driving and it's freaking hotter than blue blazes outside, like here in Texas, I can feel heat coming in, and when you're trying to get cooled off and it's 900 degrees outside and the AC's blowing nice and cold and you feel hot air blowing through your door handle, it's a little bit disconcerting. So anyway, I'm gonna make sure that's tightened up on that side, and helps keep water from getting inside the car as well. Last ditch effort to keep the water out. Word about Camaros. I know a lot of people don't think very highly of these cars. They were kind of a, cheap pony car for the masses. I think overall the quality is okay. I give it a B minus maybe on quality and whatnot, but every car manufacturer's got their issues, and for what you're paying for, I don't think it's too bad. Right now these cars are a dime a dozen, and they're highly modifiable, so you can do whatever you want to them. Parts are cheap, and I'm doing this as a unintended restoration project, so you can watch my other videos for other stuff I've done to it and other things that are coming up, like I've changed the carpet and changed the ignition switch, which is on the column, and a few other things. So it's not bad. I prefer 65, 66 Mustangs, but for the money, this thing's all right, and it's just a drive around town. This car is not or ever will be a show car. Figured out why this speaker was rattling so bad. It's completely shot. See the tears? And this is the cone. There's tears in here. And that will cause a rattle for sure. Tear almost goes all the way around it. If you got any tears in there, it's pretty much shot. You can fix this with Elmer's glue and toilet paper or paper towel, but these cones are paper and they make polypropylene cones now, so no sense in saving this. It's a factory speaker. Probably good for a while when it's new, but time to go. Okay, these are the Scosh speakers with these are plastic, mid-range and tweeters, if they're even set up that way. I kind of doubt it, but the only thing making any noise here is this. And this cone is polypropylene, which is good. Foam rolled edge, little magnet, 50 watts, should be fine for a stock radio. That's all I got, and it should provide some water resistance because it's not paper, so good enough for a factory replacement. And that giant door hole, geez Louise, they had to put an adapter in here to fill that hole. So I will put said speaker in that hole, put this back in, turn on the radio, and see how she sounds. Then I will do the same thing on the other side. Here's a tip for you guys that don't do this all the time. Much easier to put things back together, to keep all your fasteners together in one spot, all your tools in one spot, and have a place for trash. Just easier to clean up that way and keep track of everything, because ultimately you want everything to get back where it's supposed to be. If you plan on stripping wires for doing any kind of car stereo or electrical work, these are invaluable. Wire strippers. Just put it on the end, goes in between, can't do it with one hand, pulls the wire stripping the insulation off without pulling the wire apart inside. Very handy. Something to note with these Scosche speakers from the prestiged large retailer. They do not come with connections as far as adapting your existing wiring to the speaker wires. So I have an old set that I'm going to use from another one, another good reason not to throw some things away. And these will work fine. It's got a small connection and a large connection, so I'm going to go ahead and splice these in and use that to get it done. One thing you want to be aware of when you start this process is whatever speakers you buy, how far they stick out past the door versus how far the original speaker stuck out, which is about none past the rim here. Sorry, past this rim. Sticks out nada past that. So this sticks out a little bit past that, which could interfere with your door panel right there. I know some people take the grills out, put the speaker grills on, which is okay. You're gonna see it. So it just depends on the look you want and what you're trying to hide. This can be taken off. It's just plastic put in here that's been melted down. So you could either melt this out here with a soldering iron or drill it out with a drill bit, and that'll pop right off. So this one might be okay without doing that. I'll give it a shot. Speaking of, I'm getting ready to put the door panel back on. When I do that, I've got to disconnect. I don't have to disconnect that, but I am gonna need, this is my door lock right here. This indicator, the whatever you call it, that goes inside this hook goes right into that hole there, and then it just kind of clips on. So we're going to clip that on before we put it on. And I got my duct tape up here to hold my vapor barrier. It's not really a vapor barrier, that's the intent, to keep that on there. So, and this area here, this is the original sealant they put on. I just pushed it back in real good, and it seems to be sticky enough to hold it. This door panel is different from other door panels I've seen, where it's just got these hooks. That's all it is, a hook. Which kind of sucks actually, because there's one broken there and there's no way you can just buy another hook and put it on, because it's molded in there like that. That one there, and I got one over here that's broken, and that one's okay, that one's okay. Normally they're push pin types, and if those break, which they typically do, you can get those at AutoZone in the help section. No such luck with this guy. Door panel fits with no modification to the speaker grill. There's plenty of room there for my $30 speakers. And this basically just, you get this set in first, and then you know, kind of at an angle, and then you move the rest of the door panel down, and then move it. It just slides down, and hopefully all of the hooks slide right into the holes they're supposed to be. I don't have any problems with it whatsoever, which is a little easier than the push pin deals, because you got to make sure those are all lined up so you don't push them in sideways. Don't forget your door lock rod. That tends to fall down inside when you're putting this on, so make sure you got it out so you can get the other panel back on. Another heads up, there's a light here that illuminates your switches here, which is this one. Everything else pulls out. This is a twist. Got to give it a twist to get it out. Took me just a couple minutes to figure that out, if even that long. Okay, to get this piece on here, you got to take this off, get that through there, and then it gets placed on there again, the same manner it came off. Just like that. There we go. That's it. And these just go back on, and you got your screws, the one in for your door pull, one up here. There's one under here. Sorry. And there's two in there. All very important. Older Camaros used to have a real hard time with these things breaking because the doors are so heavy. I think they've got that ironed out. Fiberglass. You do have to remove this little trim piece here too. Back in it goes. Whatever you do, don't over torque these. They don't have to be all that tight because you're just going into plastic. It'd be easy to strip it. Then you're in a world of hurt trying to find another piece. If you want some good advice about new cars and purchasing used cars, go to Scotty Kilmer's channel on YouTube. He's got a lot of good advice about what to buy and what not to buy and why. Frequent repairs, what breaks down, how much they cost. Normally you can catch him on his live call-in shows too, like on I think he does them Saturday mornings at 10, Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm not sure why. Subscribe to his channel and I'll give you an alert. Got a drill with a clutch feature on it. Now would be the time to use it so you don't mess up these plastic nut plates in here. So light a setting. Can't over torque it. Great feature. Not used enough.